Too stupid to even shake it off. Crippled dog for a crippled woman. Sheriff Dixon tips his wrist, deliberately letting the steaming liquid splash down. Not an accident, a message. The dark roast hits the floor with a sharp hiss, splattering across the German Shepherd's front paws and chest. Steam rises instantly in the quiet air of Joe's diner. The entire room stops breathing. Maria freezes behind the counter, her hand clutching a towel so hard her knuckles turn white. Ed Kowalski slowly lowers his newspaper, eyes narrowing dangerously. But the dog doesn't flinch, doesn't yelp, doesn't even blink. He sits like a statue carved from granite, accepting the insult with a terrifying kind of discipline. "11 years old, left eye clouded white from shrapnel. He's faced explosions in Kandahar that were hotter than any coffee a small-town bully could pour. His breathing remains at exactly 12 breaths per minute. Combat breathing, though nobody in this diner would recognize it. The woman in oil-stained coveralls doesn't reach for napkins, doesn't stand from her booth. Her name patch reads L. Hayes, but locals know her only as the mechanic who limps on cold mornings. Stunningly beautiful, despite the grease under her fingernails. Porcelain skin dotted with natural freckles across her cheeks and nose. High, sharp nose bridge catching the morning light. Her long, light brown hair tied in a messy bun with loose curls framing captivating green eyes. She wears a fitted light gray t-shirt beneath the open coveralls. Slim, dark military pants visible. Brown combat boots planted firmly on the floor. Her fingers rest motionless beside her scrambled eggs. "What's wrong with both of you?" Dixon empties the last drops from his cup, laughing as his two deputies chuckle behind him. "Too broken to even react? Maybe I should call animal control, put this thing out of its misery." But the dog's nose twitches twice, not from the burning coffee, not from pain, from something else entirely, something chemical and wrong clinging to Dixon's uniform jacket. Semtex, RDX compound, the molecular signature of military-grade explosives that shouldn't be within 500 miles of this sleepy border town. She touches the dog's shoulder, 2 taps. Light pressure, hold position. The shepherd's damaged tail thumps once against the floor. Message received. Maria, the diner owner, grips her coffee pot with white knuckles. 60 years old, gray hair pulled back, wedding ring from a husband who never came back from Iraq. She knows trouble when she sees it. Ed Kowalski in the corner booth crushes his newspaper between weathered hands. 72, Vietnam veteran, he recognizes something in the way the woman counts exits without moving her eyes. "Sheriff Dixon," Maria starts carefully. Maybe you should mind your business, Maria." Dixon's hand drops to his service weapon, not drawing, just resting there. "Unless you want another health inspection this week, I'd hate to find violations." 4 exits total. Front door 12 feet away. Kitchen door 18 feet behind her. Emergency exit blocked by Dixon's deputies. Window to her left, reinforced glass, would take 2 hits minimum to break. 3 armed men. Dixon at 2 o'clock, 9 feet away. Deputy Chen at the door, holster unsnapped. Deputy Morrison by the register, right hand free, left holding coffee. 2 civilians at risk. Maria behind the counter, Ed in his booth, both trying to become invisible. The dog still hasn't moved. Coffee continues dripping from his gray muzzle onto the floor. Plip, 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 like a combat zone water torture. "Clean your mud up," Dixon orders. "Then get it out of my town. I don't want to see either of you broken things around here anymore." The woman finally moves, slow, deliberate. She pulls 3 $20 bills from her pocket and sets them beside her untouched eggs. Her voice comes out quiet, controlled. Buster stays where he is. Dixon's face goes red. "What did you say?" "I said Buster stays where he is." She still hasn't looked up at him. "He's not bothering anyone. He's bothering me." Dixon takes a step closer. Coffee sloshes in Deputy Chen's cup. "And that's all that matters in my town." The woman's fingers drum once on the table, pinky to index finger. A rolling motion that makes Ed's eyes narrow. He's seen that exact movement before. Trigger finger exercise, keeping limber while staying still. "Your town," she repeats softly. Interesting way to phrase it. Dixon's jaw clenches. "Get up, both of you, now." She touches the dog's shoulder again. Different this time. 3 fingers, light pressure, then release. The German Shepherd shakes his head exactly once. Controlled, measured. Coffee sprays in a perfect arc, mostly onto the floor, a few drops landing on Dixon's pressed uniform pants. Son of a... Dixon reaches for his baton. Sheriff? Deputy Chen's voice cuts through. Young, nervous. We got that thing at 7, remember? Dixon freezes. His eyes slide to his watch. 6:45 a.m. Whatever appointment Chen means, it's enough to make the sheriff step back. Random vehicle inspection, Dixon announces loudly. Your truck, right now. Chen, check her registration. Morrison, run the plates. The woman finally looks up, green eyes steady as surgical lasers. My paperwork's in order. We'll see about that. Dixon leans down close enough that she can smell the tobacco on his breath. And when we find something wrong, and we will find something, you and that worthless dog are gone. Understand? She doesn't answer, just holds his stare until he backs away. The three lawmen stride out, bell jingling above the door. Through the window, she watches Chen head toward her beaten Ford F-150 parked outside. The truck she bought specifically because its undercarriage could hide so many interesting modifications. Maria rushes over with a towel. Honey, I'm so sorry. Let me... Thank you. The woman accepts the towel, but doesn't use it yet. Instead, she kneels beside the German Shepherd. Her hands move across his head and neck in a specific pattern, checking for burns, checking for damage. The dog's good eye tracks her movements, completely alert despite his stillness. Good boy, Buster, she whispers. Good hold. She begins cleaning him with the towel, and Ed notices the pattern. Top of the head first, between the ears where the coffee hit. Then down to the left ear, then the right, then the muzzle. The exact sequence combat medics use to check head wounds. Systematic, thorough, practiced. That sheriff's getting worse, Maria says quietly. Ever since those military contracts started coming through, big trucks moving at night, questions you're not supposed to ask. The woman doesn't respond, just continues cleaning her dog. But her eyes flick to the window where Chen is now underneath her truck with a flashlight. Morrison stands guard, hand on his weapon. They won't find anything, the woman says. How can you be sure? Maria asks. Because she spent 4 hours last night removing everything they might recognize as suspicious. Because the real equipment is hidden in places these small-town cops would never think to look. Because she's been doing this dance a lot longer than they have. Just a feeling, she says instead. Buster's tail wags once, weak but deliberate, his way of saying he's okay. The woman's hand finds the spot behind his right ear where he likes to be scratched. The dog leans into her touch, and for just a moment, his combat breathing relaxes to something almost normal. Ed stands from his booth, drops a 10 on the table, and walks past them toward the door. As he passes, he says quietly, "That breathing pattern your dog's got, 12 per minute. Saw it in the Highlands, 68. The woman goes very still. Ed continues without stopping. Rangers taught their dogs that. Keep them calm under fire. The bell jingles as he exits. You both take care now. Through the window, Chen emerges from under the truck, shaking his head at Dixon. Nothing found. The sheriff's face darkens with frustration. The woman stands, helping Buster to his feet. The dog favors his right hind leg more than usual. The coffee may not have burned him badly, but the stress is taking its toll on his 11-year-old body. Come on, boy, let's go to work. They exit through the front door, the woman's limp barely noticeable, the dog's more pronounced. Dixon watches them with eyes that promise this isn't over. Morrison snickers something about cripples. Chen looks uncomfortable, but says nothing. The woman helps Buster into the passenger side of the truck, then walks around to the driver's door. Before getting in, she pauses, looks directly at Dixon, holds up her keys and jingles them once. A small gesture that somehow feels like a challenge. Dixon's hand goes to his weapon again, but she's already in the truck, engine starting with a perfectly tuned purr that speaks of careful maintenance. As they drive away, Buster places his head on her thigh. She scratches behind his ear again, feeling old scar tissue beneath the fur. Shrapnel scars, bullet grazes, a roadmap of service that these small-town bullies could never understand. Just you and me, boy, she says softly, like always. The truck rumbles down the access road toward the industrial district. Here, the town's mask slips off. The buildings are skeletal, corrugated iron scorched by the Arizona sun, weeds choking the fences. It's a graveyard of industry, the perfect place for ghosts like them to hide. Lena drives with one eye on the rearview mirror. Habits die harder than people. She checks for tails, a slow sedan, a motorcycle hanging back 2 turns behind. Nothing today, just the heat shimmering off the asphalt and the dust devils dancing in the emptiness. Beside her, Buster rests his chin on the dashboard. The coffee has dried into stiff, sticky patches on his fur, but he doesn't scratch. He scans the horizon, his ears swiveling like radar dishes tracking incoming bogeys. He knows the drill. Movement means threat. Stillness means safety, or an ambush. "Almost home, buddy," she murmurs. Hayes Automotive appears around the bend. To the locals, it's just another struggling garage. A single bay, a faded sign, an apartment perched on top like a lookout tower. But if you know what to look for, the anomalies scream at you. The chain-link fence is standard height, but the razor wire coiled at the top is angled inward, not outward, designed to keep people in a kill zone, not just keep thieves out. The security cameras mounted on the eaves aren't the cheap models you buy at a hardware store. They are wide-spectrum lenses with low-light capability, positioned to eliminate blind spots. She pulls up to the gate. She doesn't use a remote. She gets out, unlocks the heavy padlock by hand, her eyes sweeping the dirt for signs of disturbance. Tire tracks that don't match her tread. Footprints that shouldn't be there. Clean, for now. She drives in, locks the gate behind her, and helps Buster down. The dog limps slightly. The adrenaline from the diner is fading, leaving room for the old aches to return. He bypasses his water bowl and immediately begins his perimeter sweep. He checks the north corner, then the east. He sniffs the door jambs for fresh scents. Only when he is satisfied that the perimeter is secure does he go to his bowl and lap up water, washing away the taste of the morning's humiliation. Lena watches him, a pang of guilt hitting her chest. He should be sleeping on a rug somewhere, chasing balls, getting fat. Instead, he's clearing rooms. "Clear?" she asks. Buster looks at her and sits. "Clear." She unlocks the main bay door and slides it up. The smell of grease, old oil, and cold metal hits her. It's the smell of safety. In the center of the bay, raised on the hydraulic lift, sits the Humvee. M151A1 Enhanced Armament Carrier. Up-armored, heavy. A beast of a machine designed to survive IEDs and small arms fire. It arrived yesterday for a routine transmission flush, according to the work order signed by a lieutenant she's never heard of. Lena flips on the halogen work lights. They buzz to life, casting harsh shadows across the vehicle's tan armor. She walks underneath the chassis, her fingers trailing along the cold steel. Most mechanics would just drain the fluid, replace the filter, and bill the government. But Lena isn't most mechanics. Her hand pauses near the rear differential. She pulls a penlight from her pocket and shines it into the gap between the frame rails. There. The undercoating, a thick rubberized spray used to protect against rust and dampen sound, has been disturbed. It's subtle, a hairline crack in the texture. To an untrained eye, it looks like wear and tear from desert rocks. To Lena, it looks like access. She grabs a scraper and gently peels back a flake of the coating. Beneath it, the metal shines. Fresh welds. "Sloppy," she whispers. Someone has cut a trap door into the frame rails, creating a hidden compartment about 4 feet long and 6 inches wide. Too small for rifles. Too narrow for drug bricks. She moves to the rear bumper, examining the mounting brackets. They've been reinforced with titanium bolts. Why reinforce the bumper of a vehicle that already weighs 5 tons? Unless you're counterbalancing a load that shifts the center of gravity. Her mind races, connecting the dots. The transmission issues were a cover to get the vehicle off base without suspicion. The hidden compartment is specialized, shielded. Then she remembers the smell on Dixon's uniform. Semtex. But you don't build a shielded, reinforced compartment just to move plastic explosives. You can toss Semtex in a backpack. You build a compartment like this to move something delicate, something volatile, something electronic, guidance chips. The Fort Huachuca testing range has been running trials on the new AGM-179 Joint Air-to-Ground Missile System, highly classified targeting arrays that use millimeter-wave radar. Small enough to fit in a frame rail, valuable enough to kill for. Dixon isn't just a dirty cop protecting a drug route. He's a mule for high-grade military tech. And he's just realized that the dumb female mechanic he's been bullying has the vehicle with the stolen goods sitting on her lift. A chill that has nothing to do with the air conditioning runs down her spine. They aren't coming to inspect her license. They are coming to retrieve their cargo, and witnesses aren't part of the manifest. Buster lets out a low, rumbling growl from his spot by the door. Lena snaps off the penlight. Yeah, boy. I know. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. She lets it go to voicemail. Then it buzzes again. Same number. On the third call, she answers. Hayes Automotive. Miss Hayes, Dixon's voice. Forgot to mention, you'll need to renew your business license this week. In person, my office. Bring all your paperwork. My license doesn't expire for 6 months. Clerical error. These things happen. She can hear his smile. Tuesday, 2 p.m. Don't be late. The line goes dead. Buster lifts his head, sensing her tension. His good eye tracks to the window, then the door, then back to her, scanning for threats, always working. She kneels beside him, running her hands through his damp fur. What do you think, boy? They pushing too hard? The dog's nose touches her hand. Once for yes. Their old signal. Yeah, me too. She stands and walks to the workbench, moves aside a false panel. Inside, wrapped in oilcloth, sits a satellite phone she hasn't used in 2 years. Next to it, a challenge coin from SEAL Team 3. The trident catches the fluorescent lights. Not yet, but soon maybe. She replaces the panel and turns back to the Humvee. For now, she's just a mechanic. A nobody with a broken dog in a nothing town. But Dixon's right about one thing. Something's going to break. The morning stretches on. She works on the Humvee's transmission. Buster dozed in his spot, and everything seems normal. Peaceful even. Then 2 p.m. arrives with the sound of engines. 3 vehicles, 2 patrol cars and a black SUV she doesn't recognize. They park outside her fence, engines running. Buster's head snaps up. His whole body goes rigid. Not his normal alert posture. This is something else. His nose works frantically at the air. What is it, boy? The dog struggles to his feet and limps quickly to her side. His teeth show slightly, not aggressive, defensive, scared even, which sends ice through her veins. Buster doesn't scare easy. Dixon exits the SUV with 2 men she's never seen before. Suits, federal badges on their belts. But something's off about them. The badges hang wrong, the suits fit too well, private military contractors pretending to be feds. Miss Hayes, Dixon calls through the fence. Mind if we come in? These gentlemen have some questions about your military contracts. She wipes her hands on a rag, considering options. 3 cops, 2 fake feds, probably more backup waiting. Buster pressing against her leg, trying to push her back toward the garage. Gates open, she calls back. They enter like they own the place. The fake feds spread out, flanking positions. Dixon stays center, smiling like he's already won something. This is Agent Smith and Agent Jones, Dixon says. The names are so obviously fake she almost laughs. They're investigating some missing equipment from Fort Huachuca. Fort Huachuca, 90 miles north, intelligence training base, signal corps, and recently, a testing ground for new missile guidance systems. I don't work on Fort Huachuca vehicles, she says. No, Smith agrees. His voice carries a slight accent, Eastern European trying to sound Midwestern. But vehicles you do work on sometimes visit there. We need to check your records. Warrant? Don't need one, Jones says. He's better at the accent, but his stance is all wrong for a Fed. Too ready for violence. Patriot Act, national security. That's not how the Patriot Act works, but she doesn't correct them. Instead, she notices Buster's nose pointing towards Smith's briefcase. The dog's whole body trembles with the effort of not alerting. Explosives. Smith's carrying explosives in that briefcase. Records are in the office, she says. This way. She leads them toward the small office attached to the garage, mind racing. They're not here for records. They're here to plant evidence. The explosives in the briefcase. Make her disappear, blame her for whatever they're really doing. Buster stays glued to her leg, occasionally bumping her toward the exit. Good boy. Always looking for escape routes. Inside the office, she opens the filing cabinet. What dates you looking for? All of them, Dixon says. Every military contract you've had. While she pulls files, Smith sets his briefcase on her desk. The latches click open. Inside, visible for just a second before he blocks the view, she glimpses plastic explosive, probably 2 pounds. Enough to level the building. Actually, Dixon says, why don't you step outside while they work? Wouldn't want you getting in the way. She's halfway to the door when Buster suddenly collapses. Not a real collapse. She knows his fake moves. The dog hits the ground hard, legs twitching, foam appearing at his mouth. 7 years of military training creating a perfect distraction. What the hell? Morrison jumps back. Buster! She drops beside him, hands checking his airways. He's seizing. Must be from this morning, the stress. The dog's convulsions are so realistic even she would believe them if she didn't know better. His good eye rolls back. His breathing goes ragged. Get that thing out of here, Smith snaps, briefcase momentarily forgotten. I need to get him to the vet, now. She's already lifting Buster, all 70 pounds of him. Emergency vet on base, they know him there. You're not going anywhere, Dixon starts, but Jones cuts him off. Let her go, we'll be here when she gets back. Of course they will. They need time to plant the explosives properly. Make it look good for whatever frame job they're running. She carries Buster to the truck, the dog maintaining his performance until they're inside. Then he sits up, alert and ready, tail wagging once. Good boy, she whispers. Very good boy. She starts the engine but doesn't drive to the base. Instead, she heads to the one place in town Dixon won't expect, the shooting range, abandoned for 3 years. County condemned it but never tore it down. Perfect place for what's about to happen. The range sits 5 miles outside town, surrounded by desert and defunct warning signs. She parks behind the remains of the range office, where her truck can't be seen from the access road. Stay, she tells Buster, then reaches under the passenger seat. Her fingers find the hidden latch. The compartment opens, revealing items wrapped in cloth. Not weapons. Something better. Evidence. A modified phone with recording capability. Military-grade encryption. She's been recording every interaction with Dixon for 2 weeks. Not enough for court yet, but enough to interest the right people. She dials a number from memory. Desert Sun Veterinary, a voice answers, but she knows that voice. Logan, Captain Logan from Fort Huachuca, the one person she's almost trusted with the truth. My dog needs help, she says. Code phrase. The special kind. Silence for 3 heartbeats. Then, understood. Location, the old range, 30 minutes. Copy that. She ends the call and returns to Buster. The dog watches the access road, ears rotating like radar dishes, always on duty. 28 minutes later, a dust cloud announces Logan's arrival. Not his official vehicle. A civilian truck, weathered and unremarkable. Smart man. He parks beside her and exits slowly, hands visible. 6 feet tall, lean build, wearing civilian clothes but moving like an officer. His eyes take in everything, lingering on Buster. That's a military working dog, he says. Not a question. Retired, she replies. That breathing pattern, that alertness, that's not just any MWD. He steps closer, and Buster's tail wags slightly. Dogs know good people. That's a team dog. She doesn't confirm or deny. Logan pulls out his phone, shows her a photograph. It's from Afghanistan 6 years ago. A SEAL team posing with their canine partner. The dog in the photo is younger, both eyes clear, but unmistakably Buster. And standing beside him, in full combat gear, face partially obscured, but still recognizable, is a woman. Phantom 6, Logan says quietly. I thought you were dead. I am dead. She meets his eyes. Lena Hayes, mechanic, is very much alive. And Tommy Hayes? Her jaw tightens. KIA, 4 years ago, Kandahar. I'm sorry. Logan's voice carries genuine regret. I heard about the operation. Heard Phantom 6 blamed herself. Disappeared. Buster whines softly at Tommy's name. The only sign of grief he allows himself. Why are you here? Logan asks. Border town, middle of nowhere. Following breadcrumbs, she pulls out her phone, shows him photos she's taken. Modified Humvees, suspicious weld marks. Someone's using military vehicles to smuggle. Dixon's involved. Those fake feds at my shop right now are planting evidence. Logan studies the images. His expression darkens. These modifications, they're not for drugs. No, missile components, guidance systems from your base. How long have you known? 2 weeks, but I needed proof. Dixon just gave it to me. She plays him a recording from this morning. Dixon's voice talking to someone about the shipment and Tuesday pickup. Tuesday, that's in 3 days. Unless they move it up because of me. Logan makes a decision. I need to make a call, real feds this time, but it'll take 12 hours minimum to get a team here. They're planting explosives in my shop right now. I don't have 12 hours. Then we need to buy time. Logan looks at the abandoned range. This place, Dixon ever come here? Every Thursday, him and his boys, practice shooting, drink beer, act tough. Thursday's in 2 days. Unless I give him a reason to come sooner, She's already thinking, planning. He challenged me this morning, practically demanded I prove I can shoot. Logan nods slowly. Make the challenge public. His ego won't let him back down. And when he shows up, you put on a show, keep him distracted. I'll handle the rest. She looks at Buster. The dog meets her gaze, tail thumping once. Agreement. All right, she says, but first, I need to get back before they finish planting those explosives. Need to document everything. Dangerous. Everything's dangerous. She opens her truck door. That's why I have Buster. The dog jumps into the truck, favoring his bad leg but still moving with purpose. Logan watches them, something like respect in his eyes. Phantom 6, one question. He pauses. Why didn't you report this through official channels from the start? She starts the engine. Because the official channels are compromised. Someone at your base is feeding Dixon information. Someone high up. Logan's face goes pale. You're sure? Dead sure. Watch your 6, Captain. She drives away, leaving Logan standing in the desert heat. In the rearview mirror, she sees him pull out his phone, making those calls, starting the machinery that will either save them or bury them. Back at the shop, 3 patrol cars still wait. The black SUV is gone. Smith and Jones nowhere in sight, but Dixon leans against her fence, smoking, patient as a rattlesnake. She parks outside the fence, helps Buster out. The dog immediately goes into work mode, nose testing the air, cataloging threats. Vet says he's fine, she calls to Dixon. Just stress. Good to hear. Dixon flicks his cigarette away. We finished our inspection. Find anything interesting? Matter of fact, yes. His smile is all teeth. Discrepancies in your paperwork. You'll need to sort them out. Tuesday, my office. Looking forward to it, she walks past him, Buster at her heel. The dog's nose twitches as they pass the spot where Dixon stood. More Semtex residue. Whatever they're moving, it's big. Inside the shop, everything looks normal. Too normal. They've cleaned up after themselves. But Buster goes straight to her desk, pawing at the bottom drawer. She opens it carefully. Inside, poorly hidden, sits a package. Plastic explosive with a timer attached. Not armed yet, but ready. Evidence for when they need her gone. She photographs it from every angle, then carefully resets everything exactly as they left it. Let them think she's oblivious. That night, she doesn't sleep. Neither does Buster. They sit in the dark apartment above the shop, watching the street. 3 times, vehicles drive by slowly. Checking if she's running, she's not running, not anymore. At 4:30 a.m., her phone buzzes. Logan. Package arriving noon. Special delivery. Code. Federal backup coming. Noon tomorrow. Just need to survive until then. At 5 a.m., she takes Buster for his morning walk. Their usual route past the diner. Maria's already inside, prepping for the breakfast rush. Through the window, their eyes meet. Maria holds up a coffee pot. Invitation clear. Inside, the diner's empty except for Ed in his corner booth. Same seat, same coffee, same watchful eyes. Heard there was some excitement at your place yesterday, Ed says, without looking up from his newspaper. Just a misunderstanding. Lots of those lately. He turns a page. Also heard Dixon's been practicing his shooting, getting ready for something. She accepts coffee from Maria, black, hot enough to burn. Everyone needs a hobby. True enough, Ed finally looks at her. You know, back in '68, we had a dog handler, kid from Oklahoma. His shepherd could smell an ambush from half a click out. Saved us more times than I can count. Buster's ears perk up at the word shepherd. Ed continues. That dog knew things. When to alert, when to stay quiet, when to play dead. His eyes are steady on hers. Smart dogs, shepherds, especially the trained ones. Message received. Ed knows more than he's let on. Speaking of training, Ed adds, Dixon's been running his mouth at Murphy's bar. Says he's going to challenge some uppity female mechanic to a shooting contest. Today, 3 p.m. Old range. Today? She was going to challenge him, but he's moved first, trying to control the situation. Interesting, she says. Very. Ed stands, drops money on the table. Might be worth having witnesses, for safety. After he leaves, Maria leans close. Be careful, honey. Dixon's been different lately. Meaner, like he's building up to something. I know. That dog of yours, he's special, isn't he? Lena looks at Buster, who's watching the door with unwavering focus. Very special. My husband had a dog in Iraq, saved his unit from an IED. Maria's voice catches. Dog didn't make it, but my Danny did. Came home because of that dog. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be careful. Maria refills her coffee. And if you need anything at all, you ask. The bell jingles. Deputy Chen enters, spots her, heads over. Miss Hayes, sheriff wants to confirm. 3 p.m. Old Range. You coming? Wouldn't miss it. Good. Chen looks uncomfortable. He says bring your own weapon. If you have one, I'll manage. Chen leaves quickly, like he's delivering messages for the devil and doesn't want to stick around for the consequences. She finishes her coffee, leaves money on the counter. Buster follows her out, staying close. The morning sun already brutal, promising another scorcher. At the shop, she opens the safe hidden behind a false wall. Inside, wrapped carefully, lies an M1 Garand. Not just any M1, this one has history. Tommy's rifle, the one he learned to shoot with, the one she taught him on. She lifts it out, checking the action. Clean, oiled, ready. She hasn't fired it since Tommy died, but her hands remember every curve, every balance point. What do you think, boy? Time to wake it up? Buster's tail wags twice. Yes. She spends the next hours preparing, not just the rifle, everything. Logan sends coded updates, assets moving into position, surveillance established, trap ready to spring. At 2:30 p.m., she loads Buster into the truck. The dog seems younger somehow, energized by the promise of action, his training taking over, suppressing the aches of age. The old range looks different in daylight, bleached wood structures, rusted target frames at various distances, 100 yards, 200, 400. The long-range targets barely visible through heat shimmer. Dixon's already there with half the sheriff's department and a crowd of townspeople. Words spread. Entertainment's rare in border towns. Ed's there, positioned where he can see everything. Maria too, which surprises her. Logan nowhere visible, but she knows he's watching. Dixon stands by a folding table covered in weapons. AR-15s, hunting rifles, a few handguns, all modern, all tactical. Didn't think you'd show, he calls out. She parks, helps Buster out. The dog immediately begins cataloging positions. 12 hostiles, 8 neutrals, multiple vehicles, no immediate cover if things go bad. Brought your own weapon, I see. Dixon eyes the Garand with amusement. Antique, fitting. She doesn't respond, just begins checking the rifle methodically. Buster lies down beside her, but his muscles stay coiled, ready. Rules are simple, Dixon announces loudly. 3 targets each, 100 yards, 200, 400, best of 3 wins. Stakes? She asks. You win, I forget about your paperwork problems. I win, you leave town, tonight. Deal. The crowd murmurs. This just got interesting. Dixon goes first. AR-15 with expensive optics. 100-yard target, center mass. 200, a little left, but still in the black. 400, he takes his time, breathing controlled. Good hit. Not perfect, but respectable. Your turn, mechanic. She steps to the line, Garand feeling familiar as breathing. Iron sights only. No optics. The 100-yard target wavers in the heat. She doesn't aim. Not the way Dixon expects. Instead, she reads wind patterns in the dust devils. Calculates bullet drop. Factors in the rifle's quirks, the way it pulls slightly left that Tommy never could fully correct. First shot. The sound rolls across the desert like thunder. 100-yard target, dead center. The crowd goes quiet. 200 yards. She adjusts, fires. Another center hit. 400 yards. This is where iron sights become a disadvantage, where modern optics should win. Should. She takes a full minute, not aiming, waiting, feeling for that moment between heartbeats when everything aligns. The rifle fires almost by itself. The spotter calls it. Center, perfect center. Dixon's face goes red. Lucky shots. Go again. They shoot 3 more rounds. Each time she matches or beats him. Not showing off, just consistent, mechanical, inevitable. By the 5th round, Dixon's getting desperate. 600 yards, 1 shot, winner takes all. 600 yards with iron sights is almost impossible. That's the point. Fine. He goes first, taking his time with a borrowed .308 with high-end glass. His shot hits the target, but barely. Upper right quadrant. She looks at the distant target, then at Buster. The dog's nose points slightly left. Reading wind she can't even feel. Smart dog. Ed mutters from nearby. She adjusts based on Buster's tell, breathes out slowly, fires. The spotter takes longer this time, checks twice. Dead center! The crowd erupts. Dixon stands frozen, rage building behind his eyes. Then Buster alerts, not obviously. Just a slight stiffening, nose pointing toward the access road. Vehicles approaching. 3 black SUVs. Federal plates. Logan's package has arrived early. Dixon's hand moves to his weapon as the federal vehicles approach, not drawing, but ready. His deputies shift nervously, unsure if these are friends or problems. "Expecting company?" Dixon asks her, voice dangerous. "Not my party." The SUVs stop in tactical formation. Doors open simultaneously. 6 agents exit, weapons visible but not drawn. Real feds this time. The way they move, the way they position themselves, everything about them screams legitimate. The lead agent, a black woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and zero patience for nonsense, approaches the group. Her badge reads Special Agent Williams, NCIS. "Sheriff Dixon, we need to talk." "About what?" Dixon's trying for casual, but sweat beads on his forehead despite the desert heat being normal for him. "About military equipment being illegally transported through your jurisdiction." Williams's eyes sweep the crowd. "Everyone not law enforcement needs to leave, now." The townspeople start dispersing, but slowly. They smell blood in the water. Ed moves closer instead of away, and Williams notices. "You too, sir." "Master Sergeant Edward Kowalski, retired." Ed straightens slightly. "I believe I might have relevant information." Williams considers, then nods. "Stay. Everyone else out." Maria squeezes Lena's arm as she passes. "You be safe, honey." Soon it's just Dixon and his deputies, the federal agents, Lena with Buster, Ed, and Logan, who emerges from wherever he'd been observing. "Captain Logan," Williams acknowledges him, "your intel better be solid." It is. Logan pulls out a tablet, shows her something that makes her expression harden. "Sheriff Dixon, I need you and your deputies to surrender your weapons." "Like hell." Dixon's hand tightens on his pistol grip. "You have no authority here." "Actually, we do." Williams produces a warrant. Suspected terrorism, transport of military explosives, conspiracy to commit treason, federal jurisdiction overrides local. Morrison and Chen look at each other, confused. They're dirty, but apparently not dirty enough to know about the explosives. "This is ridiculous," Dixon's voice rises. "You're taking the word of some nobody mechanic and her broken dog?" That's when Buster does something unexpected. He stands, limps forward 3 steps, and barks 3 times. Short, sharp barks. "Woof, woof, woof." Logan's head snaps up. That's a military canine signal. Contact front. That dog's indicating a threat. Buster's nose points directly at Dixon's vehicle. "Agent Williams," Logan says urgently, "that's a trained explosive detection dog. If he's alerting..." Williams doesn't hesitate. "Everyone back. Now. Henderson, get the bomb kit." They establish a perimeter while Agent Henderson approaches Dixon's patrol car with detection equipment. The device starts screaming immediately. "Positive for explosive residue, significant traces." Dixon's face goes white. "That's impossible." "Sheriff Dixon, you're under arrest." Williams moves toward him, but Dixon draws his weapon. Everything happens fast. Dixon swings the gun toward Lena. Buster, despite his age and injuries, launches himself at Dixon. 70 pounds of trained muscle and protective instinct slams into the sheriff's arm just as he fires. The shot goes wide. Dixon goes down with Buster's jaws locked on his wrist, not biting through, just holding, controlling. The exact pressure needed to make Dixon drop the weapon without severing tendons. "Release," Lena says quietly. Buster lets go immediately, backing away but staying between her and Dixon. Blood seeps through Dixon's sleeve, but it's minimal. Controlled damage, professional. Williams has her weapon out now, trained on Dixon. "Do not move." "That dog attacked me," Dixon screams. "I want it put down." "That dog just saved your life," Williams says coldly. "My team would have shot you center mass." Henderson continues scanning vehicles. Morrison's patrol car sets off the detector, then Chen's. "Residue on all 3 vehicles. Whatever you've been transporting, you've been sloppy about it." Morrison breaks first. "I don't know anything about explosives. Dixon just said we were providing security for cargo transfers. Said it was Homeland Security stuff." "Shut up," Dixon snarls. "Too late for that." Williams nods to her team. "Take them all in, separate vehicles, separate interrogation." As they're cuffing Dixon, he stares at Lena with pure hatred. "You set me up. You and that dog. Who are you, really?" She doesn't answer, but Logan does. "Agent Williams, there's something you should know." He pulls up another file on his tablet, a military personnel record. "I ran facial recognition on Miss Hayes here. Got an interesting hit." The photo on the screen is from 6 years ago, a Navy SEAL in full combat gear, face paint partially obscuring features, but not enough to hide the resemblance. The name reads Lieutenant Commander L. Hayes, SEAL Team 3, call sign Phantom 6. Phantom 6? Williams looks at Lena with new interest. "You're supposed to be dead." "Retired," Lena corrects quietly. Dixon laughs, bitter and disbelieving. "You're telling me she's a SEAL? That's impossible. Look at her." Logan pulls up another photo, a military funeral, the coffin draped in an American flag. The nameplate reads Petty Officer 2nd Class Thomas Hayes. Thomas Hayes, killed in action 4 years ago in Kandahar. Explosive detection, canine handler. Logan zooms in on a figure standing at the grave. It's Lena, in dress uniform, her SEAL insignia visible. His sister. Then Logan zooms in further, to the dog sitting beside the coffin. Younger, both eyes clear, but unmistakably Buster. Ghost, Logan reads from the file. Military working dog, specialized in explosive detection, credited with finding 47 IEDs during 3 deployments, retired after handler's death, released to next of kin. Dixon stares at the screen, then at Buster, then at Lena. The pieces falling into place. "You're her. The female SEAL who broke the barriers. The one who got her brother killed," Lena finishes quietly. "Yes." The desert wind picks up, sending dust devils spinning across the range. Buster presses against her leg, offering comfort the way he's done 1,000 times before. Ed speaks up. "I knew Tommy Hayes. Good kid. Best nose for danger I ever saw. Him and that dog saved a lot of lives. Including mine," Chen says suddenly. Everyone turns to look at the deputy. 4 years ago, I was Army Reserve, deployed to Kandahar. Vehicle convoy hit an IED field. Tommy Hayes and Ghost cleared a path out. Tommy didn't make it, but the rest of us did. Chen looks at Lena with tears in his eyes. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. Dixon said you were just some troublemaker." Williams processes all this information. "Commander Hayes, why didn't you identify yourself when you discovered the smuggling operation?" "Because someone at Fort Huachuca is involved. Someone high enough to protect Dixon. I needed evidence before revealing myself." "And you have this evidence?" Lena pulls out her phone, plays recordings. Dixon discussing shipments with someone called Colonel, references to guidance systems, delivery schedules, payment amounts. Williams listens, her expression getting darker. "This Colonel, any idea who?" "Working on it," Logan says, "but we have 3 suspects at the base, all with access to the missile systems." Morrison, trying to save himself, starts talking. "There's a warehouse, edge of town, Desert Sun Storage, Unit 47. Dixon meets someone there every Tuesday night. That's tonight," Henderson notes. Williams makes a decision. "We're going to keep this arrest quiet for the next few hours. Let this colonel think everything's still on schedule." She looks at Lena. "Commander, I could use your help. I'm retired. Your country needs you." "My country needed my brother too. Look how that turned out." Buster whines softly. He nudges her hand with his nose. Once. Their signal for yes. "You sure, boy?" Another nudge, the dog's good eye focused and clear, ready for one more mission. "All right," Lena says, "but we do this my way." The plan comes together quickly. Dixon's phone, taken during arrest, shows a message confirming tonight's pickup. 11 p.m. Desert Sun Storage. They move Dixon and his deputies to federal custody quietly. No sirens, no publicity. To anyone watching, it looks like Dixon won the shooting contest and everyone went home. Lena returns to her shop with Buster. The explosive device the fake feds planted is still in her drawer. She photographs it again, then carefully extracts the detonator, makes it safe, but leaves it looking armed. Logan arrives at 8 p.m. with surveillance equipment. They set up in the apartment above her shop, perfect view of the street. "This colonel," Logan says, "when he realizes Dixon's not coming, he'll run, unless we give him reason to stay." She picks up Dixon's phone, types a message. "Fed trouble earlier, laying low. Send your boy to collect package from mechanic shop. She has evidence planted, ready for removal. The response comes quickly. Confirmed. Asset en route. They wait. Buster stays alert despite the long day. At 10:15 p.m., Lena checks her phone. The security app she mentioned to Maria earlier, the $20 monthly protection that catches $1,000 theft attempts, shows 3 unauthorized signals approaching her shop. A black van parks outside. 2 men exit, the same fake feds from yesterday. Smith and Jones, or whatever their real names are. Let them come, Lena whispers. They break into her shop easily. Too easily. She's disabled the alarms, unlocked the secondary locks. They need to find that planted evidence. Through the surveillance feed, they watch Smith go straight to her desk. He opens the drawer, finds the package. Got it, Smith says into his radio. Package secured. Bring it to primary location, a voice responds. Colonel wants to verify personally. Smith and Jones exit with the package. Their van drives away, and a tracking device Logan attached earlier shows them heading to Desert Sun storage. Now we move, Williams says through comms. She's been monitoring everything. At the storage facility, federal agents are already in position, hidden, waiting. Lena and Logan arrive separately, parking where they can observe. Buster stays in the truck, but his nose works through the partially open window. At 10:55 p.m., a military Humvee arrives. Not unusual in a military town, except this one has modifications. The same modifications Lena documented on vehicles in her shop. A man exits. Full bird colonel. 50-ish, silver hair, confident bearing. Colonel Marcus Blackwood, Fort Huachuca's deputy commander of intelligence operations. Smith hands him the package. Blackwood examines it, then makes a fatal mistake. He arms the device. Idiot, Lena mutters. He just gave us attempted terrorism with a weapon of mass destruction. Williams's voice comes through comms. All units, go. Federal agents swarm from everywhere. Blackwood tries to run but doesn't get far. Lena releases Buster from the truck with a hand signal. The old dog moves faster than he has in years, cutting off Blackwood's escape route. Blackwood pulls a pistol, aims at the dog. Lena's already moving. The knife leaves her hand before Blackwood can process the threat. It strikes his weapon, sending it spinning into the darkness. I wouldn't, she says quietly. Blackwood finally recognizes her. Phantom 6. You're supposed to be dead. Disappointed? You killed your own brother with your incompetence. You should have stayed hidden. The words hit like physical blows, but she doesn't flinch. Tommy died because someone leaked our position to the enemy. Someone with access to classified operational plans. Blackwood's face changes. Fear now. How long did it take you to set it up? She continues. Selling intel to fund your smuggling operation? How many operations did you compromise? How many soldiers did you kill? You can't prove anything. Actually, we can. Logan steps from the shadows, holding a tablet. Your computer at the base. We imaged the drives 3 hours ago, found everything. The leaked intel, the payment records, the operational plans you sold, including, Lena adds quietly, the plan for Operation Viper, the mission where Tommy died. Blackwood goes pale. Williams approaches with cuffs. Colonel Marcus Blackwood, you're under arrest for treason, terrorism, conspiracy, murder of American service members, and about 30 other charges we'll sort out later. As they're taking him away, Blackwood turns back to Lena. Your brother was collateral damage, nothing personal, Buster growls, low and dangerous. Lena puts her hand on his head, calming him. Everything's personal when it comes to family. The next hours blur together. More arrests at Fort Huachuca, a smuggling network spanning 3 states dismantled, missile guidance systems recovered. The sun rises over the desert, painting everything gold. Lena sits on the tailgate of her truck, Buster beside her. The dog's head rests on her thigh, finally relaxed. Williams approaches with a folder. Commander Hayes, the Department of Defense wants to recall you to active duty. Full reinstatement, your choice of assignments. No. They're also recommending you for the Silver Star, for your actions here. No. Williams sighs. What do you want? I want Tommy's record updated. Full disclosure that his position was compromised by a traitor, not by tactical error. I want his family benefits restored to our mother, and I want Buster to receive the recognition he deserves. The dog? He identified the explosives. He protected civilians. He's the reason we could track the entire network. She scratches behind Buster's ears. He's earned it. Williams smiles slightly. I'll see what I can do. Logan joins them as Williams walks away. So, what now? Now, Buster and I fix trucks, live quiet. That's it? That's everything. The base veterinarian arrives to check Buster after yesterday's action. Her examination is thorough, gentle, professional, but caring. He's got maybe 2 years left, she says quietly. 3 if you're lucky. That shrapnel near his heart, the nerve damage. He's earned his rest. I know. There's also this. The vet hands her an X-ray, points to a small object near Buster's shoulder. Microchip, but not the standard kind. Lena looks closer, recognizes the serial number format. That's a SEAL team tracker. Tommy must have had it implanted. It's still active, still broadcasting. The vet smiles. Your brother made sure this dog could always be found. Always come home. Later, back at the shop, Ed Kowalski stops by. He's carrying a folded flag case. This was my son's, he says simply. KI Iraq 2007. I've been waiting for the right person to give it to. Ed, I can't. You can. You will. He sets it on her workbench. That dog of yours, he knew Dixon was dirty from day one, didn't he? Yes. And you knew because the dog knew? Yes. Good partners are hard to find. Ed heads for the door, pauses. Maria's making a memorial wall at the diner, pictures of local veterans. She'd like one of Tommy, if you have one to spare. I'll bring one by. After he leaves, she opens the flag case. Inside, along with the perfectly folded flag, is a note for those who serve in silence. The shop phone rings. She almost doesn't answer, then recognizes the number. Her mother, calling from Ohio. Lena, I saw the news. They said something about a terrorist arrest in Arizona. I'm fine, Mom. Were you involved? Peripherally. Silence, then, is it over? Whatever you've been looking for since Tommy? Lena looks at Buster, who's watching her with that one good eye, loyal, patient, constant. Yeah, Mom, it's over. Then come home. I am home. She means it. This dusty town, this shop, this life. But I'll visit soon, and I'll bring someone for you to meet. Someone? His name's Buster. You'll love him. That evening, Maria insists on a celebration dinner at the diner. Nothing fancy, just friends gathering. Ed's there. Logan, who's staying in town for the investigation. Chen, who resigned from the sheriff's department effective immediately. Williams, who's developing a taste for Maria's coffee. To Buster, Maria raises her cup. The best dog in Arizona. Everyone drinks to that. Buster's tail wags, understanding the tone if not the words. Chen approaches hesitantly. Miss Hayes, Lena, I wanted to say, I'm sorry for everything, for not standing up to Dixon, for not recognizing what you and Buster were. You recognize Tommy, that's enough. I've been thinking about re-enlisting. Army Reserve again. Maybe I can balance the scales a little. Tommy would appreciate that. As the evening winds down, Lena steps outside for air. The desert night is cool, stars brilliant overhead. Buster follows, always her shadow. A car pulls up. Government plates. The driver's window rolls down, revealing a man she recognizes but hoped never to see again. Admiral James Mitchell, SEAL Team commander from her active days. Commander Hayes, I'm retired. No one ever really retires from the teams. He exits the vehicle, and she notices he's favoring his left leg. Recent injury. Hell of a thing you did here. Buster did most of the work. Mitchell looks at the dog with genuine respect. I remember Ghost. Hell of a K9. Tommy was lucky to have him. We were lucky to have Tommy. Yes. Mitchell's expression softens. Lena, I owe you an apology. After Operation Viper, I should have looked deeper. Should have known something was wrong. You couldn't have known Blackwood was dirty. Maybe not, but I should have fought harder when you requested the investigation. He pulls out an envelope. This won't make up for it, but maybe it's a start. Inside is a single sheet of paper, official Navy letterhead, Tommy's service record, updated. The operation where he died now correctly listed as compromised by enemy intelligence obtained through treason. His death reclassified from tactical error to killed in action while protecting fellow service members. There's more, Mitchell says. Full benefits for your mother, backdated, and this. Another envelope. Inside, a medal, the Navy Cross. For Tommy, posthumous. He held position for 6 hours after being mortally wounded, allowing his team to evacuate. Buster stayed with him the entire time, continuing to alert on IEDs even after Tommy couldn't give commands anymore. Lena's vision blurs. She blinks hard, refusing to break. Not here, not now. There's one more thing. Mitchell returns to his car, brings out a wooden box. This was in Tommy's personal effects. We should have sent it years ago, but with the investigation, she opens it. Inside is Tommy's seal trident, his dog tags, and a photo. It's of her and Tommy at his graduation from Canine Handler School, Buster between them, all three grinning at the camera. On the back, in Tommy's handwriting, "The Three Musketeers, always." Mitchell drives away, leaving her standing in the parking lot, holding pieces of her brother's life. Buster presses against her leg, whining softly. "I know, boy. I miss him too." They return to the shop, climbing the stairs to the apartment. She places Tommy's effects on the dresser, next to the flag Ed gave her. A shrine of sorts, but not a sad one. A reminder of service, of sacrifice, of family. That night, for the first time in 4 years, she sleeps without nightmares. Buster curled beside her bed, occasionally sighing in contentment. She wakes to her phone buzzing. Logan texting that final arrests have been made. The network is completely down. It's truly over. Downstairs, she finds a package by the shop door. No return address, but she recognizes Chen's handwriting. Inside is a collar, not just any collar, a military working dog collar with a brass plate reading, "Ghost, Hero, Friend, Family." She kneels beside Buster, removes his worn civilian collar, and fastens the new one. It fits perfectly. There, now everyone will know who you really are. The dog's tail wags, and she swears he stands a little straighter. Life settles into a new rhythm. She fixes vehicles. Buster supervises. Locals stop by, not for repairs, but to thank them. Words spread about what really happened, about who they really are. A week later, a ceremony at the VFW hall. Nothing fancy, but the whole town shows up. Williams presents Buster with an official commendation from NCIS. Logan reads a letter from the Fort Huachuca commander, thanking them for their service. Maria brings a cake shaped like a dog bone. Even Chen shows up in his Army Reserve uniform, fresh from re-enlistment. Ed takes the microphone. "I've lived in this town 40 years, thought I'd seen everything. But watching this dog, this hero, remind us all what loyalty means, that's something special." Buster sits at attention through it all, like he understands every word. Maybe he does. As people disperse, a young woman approaches, military bearing despite civilian clothes. "Commander Hayes, I'm Sergeant Rebecca Foster. I was in Tommy's unit." Lena tenses, but the woman continues quickly. "I wanted to thank you. What you did, exposing Blackwood, it brought closure. My husband was killed in an operation 6 months before Tommy. We always suspected something was wrong. I'm sorry for your loss. Don't be. Be proud. Your brother saved 8 people that day. My cousin was one of them." Foster kneels beside Buster. "And this guy. Ghost is a legend in the canine community. Handlers still tell stories about him." She pulls out a phone, shows a video. It's from a military working dog training facility. Young handlers watching footage of Buster in action, learning from his techniques. He's literally in the training manual now. His alert patterns, his detection methods. He's teaching a whole new generation. Buster watches the video, head tilted, maybe recognizing his younger self. That evening, alone in the shop, Lena gets one final visitor. Smith, or whatever his real name is, the fake Fed who planted the explosives. He's in federal custody Orange, shackled, with 2 marshals as escorts. 5 minutes, one marshal says. Smith looks older, defeated. "I wanted to tell you something. About Tommy." Lena stays silent. "I was there, in Kandahar. Different unit, but I saw what happened." He swallows hard. "Your brother held that position alone for 6 hours. 6 hours, taking fire, bleeding out, still calling in IED locations for the evacuation route. I know." "No, you don't. Not all of it." Smith leans forward. "Blackwood ordered him abandoned. Said he was already dead, not worth the risk. But Ghost wouldn't leave. That dog dragged medical supplies to Tommy, brought him water, even tried to apply pressure to the wounds with his body." Lena's throat tightens. "When the extraction team finally defied orders and went back, they found Tommy dead and Ghost still standing guard. still alerting on explosives, still protecting his handler's body. Smith's voice cracks. I've done terrible things, made wrong choices, but I needed you to know, your brother and that dog, they were the real deal. The marshals take him away. Lena stands alone in her shop, processing. Then she looks at Buster, who's watching her with that one good eye. You never told me that part, did you, boy? The dog's tail wags once. Always the hero. Both of you. 3 months pass. The shop thrives. Lena's reputation as someone who fixes things right brings customers from 3 counties over. Buster becomes the unofficial mascot, greeting each vehicle like it might hide explosives. Then one morning, Buster doesn't get up. Not can't. Doesn't. He looks at her with that good eye, and she knows. It's time. She calls the vet who comes to the shop. No sterile clinic for this warrior. He'll leave from the place he guarded. He's not in pain, the vet assures her. Just tired, ready. Lena sits on the floor beside him, his head in her lap. She tells him about Tommy, about the good times before the war, about how proud she is of him, about how he's the best partner anyone could ask for. Ed arrives, somehow knowing. Then Maria, Logan, Chen, even Williams drives down from Phoenix. They sit quietly, witnesses to a hero's final watch. You saved me, Buster, Lena whispers. After Tommy, you saved me. The dog's tail wags once more, weak but deliberate. Then his breathing slows, stops. Ghost, Buster, hero, friend, family, goes to join his handler. They bury him at the old range, where he proved everyone wrong. Full military honors. Logan plays taps on his phone because they don't have a bugler, but it feels right anyway. Chen and 5 other Army Reserve members fold a flag, present it to Lena. For his service to our nation, she places Tommy's seal trident on the grave. Tell him I love him, boy. Tell him I'm okay. 2 weeks later, another package arrives. No return address. Inside is a collar, tags, and a note. The collar belongs to a young German shepherd, barely a year old. The tags read Scout. The note is simple. He needs someone who understands. The dog will find you. 3 hours later, a truck pulls up. A handler exits with a young shepherd, energetic and alert. The dog immediately goes to where Buster used to lie, sniffs, then looks at Lena. Rejected from the program, the handler explains. Too independent. Wouldn't follow standard protocols, but his detection scores were off the charts. Like someone else I knew. Scout approaches slowly, cautious but interested. He sniffs her hand, then does something unexpected. He alerts, the same 3-bark pattern Buster used. That's impossible, the handler says. He never learned that signal, but Lena understands. Buster spent his last months teaching the younger dogs at the base, passing on knowledge, creating legacy. I'll take him. Scout moves into the shop like he's always belonged there. He learns Buster's routines within days, sleeps in the same spot, watches the same angles, different but the same. The mission continues. 6 months later, Lena gets a call. Admiral Mitchell again. There's a situation, New Mexico, civilian contractor moving something they shouldn't. Local law enforcement is overwhelmed. I'm retired. I'm not asking you to return, I'm asking you to consult. You and Scout, 1 week, unofficial. She looks at Scout, who tilts his head exactly the way Buster used to. 1 week. It turns into 3 weeks, then a month. The contractor turns out to be part of a larger network. Scout proves invaluable. His unconventional training perfect for unconventional threats. They return to the shop eventually, but the calls keep coming. A missing child in Texas, where Scout's nose finds what hundreds of searchers couldn't. A potential bombing in Nevada that Scout detects before it happens. Lena becomes something new, not military, not civilian, something in between, someone who fixes things that others can't or won't. The shop remains her base. The town remains her home. Maria still makes the best coffee. Ed still reads his paper in the corner booth. Life goes on, but differently. One evening, a year after Buster's death, she visits his grave. Scout lies beside the marker, respectful, understanding. She pulls out a letter she's been carrying, from her mother, who visited last month. Dear Lena, seeing you at peace brought me more joy than you can know. Tommy would be proud, not of what you've accomplished, but of who you've become. Someone who protects without uniform, someone who serves without recognition, someone who found family in unexpected places. Take care of Scout. Take care of yourself. Love, Mom. The desert wind stirs, and she could swear she smells something familiar. Coffee and gun oil and wet dog. The scent of that morning at Joe's diner when everything changed. Thank you, Buster, she says to the marker, for everything. Scout stands, alerts to something in the distance. Not a threat, just the world continuing its spin. Work to do, people to help, wrongs to right. They walk back to the truck together, woman and dog, carrying on a tradition of service that transcends uniform or rank. The radio crackles as she drives. Another situation, another call for help. Hayes and Scout responding, she says into the handset. Behind them, the sun sets over the desert, painting the sky in shades of glory. Ahead, the road stretches endless and full of possibility. In the passenger seat, Scout watches the horizon with eyes that miss nothing. Young, but already wise. Different, but the same. The mission continues, always.
Thank you for being part of our EV story. Here, we tell story about simple women with hidden strength and deep courage. So, if story inspire you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. We will see you in the next story.